Yeah.
The positive of the snow today was it didn't impact school because it was MLK Day.
It's funny, Yona and I were having breakfast this morning, and I could imagine if I was like a elementary kid or something in school going, man, I got chipped.
Yeah. I think
I think they're going to be off tomorrow because I think we're going to get enough snow
I think our oldest
tonight.
My hope is it's just a delay tomorrow. It depends on the school.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. I think the Publix are certainly going to be closed. Time will tell. Viewers and listeners, give the show a like and a share anywhere you're watching.
What's the latest forecast?
We will. There's snow in the forecast this evening, but they're treating and salting the roads. The snow stops at 10 this evening.
I had to go to Richmond yesterday, and they started treating the roads, the whole day.
They do a good job.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have them safe than sorry, right?
Yeah, I mean it's covered in the taxes. Judah Wickower is the director of the talk show. Hello, Judah Wickower. James Watson, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, James.
Hillary Lewis Murray, welcome to the broadcast. You're doing a fantastic job on the show, Hillary. Your show is fantastic, the juicy details. Simona Holloway, welcome to the show. Thank you kindly for joining us. Lauren Marie, welcome to the broadcast. Johnny Ornalis, que pasa, chico. Lisa Watson, hello, welcome to the broadcast. Lauren and Keswick, welcome to the broadcast. Philadelphia Ornalis, welcome to the broadcast. Kevin Yancey, Carrie Rock, Philip Andrew Hamilton. Heather Placer-Mull, welcome to the broadcast. You're fantastic at what you do, Heather Placer-Mull. Holly Foster, Olivia Branch, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you kindly for joining us. Todd Rath, the owner of Blue Toad Hard Cider, welcome to the broadcast.
Todd, I'm working on that request for you, buddy.
Give the show a like and a share anywhere you are watching. We'll rock and roll on the Martin Luther King edition of Real Talk with Keith Smith today on a chilly Monday morning in downtown Charlottesville, Virginia. Judah Wickower, you have that 3-shot ready to go. Excited to weave you into the show, weave you into the program, and pick that beautiful brain of yours. Judah's always ready to conversate. And my friend, we can rock and roll.
I wish people could see what he just did.
I think folks know by now. I think by now folks know. I mean, they've seen him.
He can write like whole novels with just his eyebrow.
He's not a poker. A poker face is not one of his.
He does not.
He does not have a poker face.
I would play poker with him.
I would love to play poker with him.
Much like opposite of my wife, I might be able to beat you.
I would love to play poker with him as well. I think I've mentioned that to him. All right, we can rock and roll there.
Not to do that.
When you are ready there, J-Dubs.
Quiet on the set.
Good Monday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. Happy Martin Luther King Day to you. We will take a moment to honor MLK Day. We are in downtown Charlottesville right now, a hop, skip, and a jump from the movers and shakers here in Charlottesville and in Central Virginia. Keith Smith, the star of the program, his namesake website, Real Talk with Keith Smith, online at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. The man is a realtor, a real estate agent, and if you need help buying and selling your house, Keith Smith of Yes Realty Partners should be your first choice. Judah Wickower is our director and producer. He's also a key contributor to the broadcast. And Keith Smith, I believe you have I don't think I've seen that look before. I like it. A quarter zip.
This is a new look, and we
I like it.
We surely did not get the memo. I almost was going to put a jacket on. I said, you know what? It's snowing. Let's take it a little easy today.
Well, I mean, I have the benefit of the little closet here.
That's right.
Where I can store the
Well, how do you know
clothes.
I don't have a closet in my truck?
I have no doubt that you take your jacket off before you get in your truck and hang it on a hanger in the back seat or hanging over the window in the back seat. I would imagine you do that for fear of wrinkling your jacket. That's the Marine in you.
Yeah, it's actually we've been talking about getting ready to our 5th year. Mm-hmm. Our actual first show on the network was Yona and I was this week in January of 2019. It was your afternoon show. We didn't quite kick off.
I remember.
Real Talk. So, we are kind of in the fifth year of being in front of a camera and a microphone, and you would think I'd be better at it by this
You're
time.
pretty fantastic at it, my friend.
Oh, stop it. Keep it
I would say an award-winning broadcaster, if you may.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, you have won national awards.
Twice.
So much so that perhaps imitation is the finest form of flattery, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I'll leave it at that.
There you go. So look, just to kick off the market news, or just a little bit. So from Friday until now, 24 homes went into pending. When we were looking at it, and I'll just double check the numbers real quick. When we were looking at what new came on last Wednesday, because we took off Friday for my birthday,
Right.
There's 56 new homes that came on the market in the car footprint, and this morning there's 33. So that's a 23 unit difference. Somewhere there's one other unit that climbed in here somehow in it. But at the end of the day, since Friday, we sold 24 units. So 24 units went into pending, went under contract to that. It was great news last Wednesday. We had 56 new, not so good at 33. I was hoping we'd keep it in the 50s or greater than the 50s.
Inventory is shrinking is what he's saying.
And inventory is not going in the right direction, is what we would hope. But the pendings went up. So that's everything. That's single-family attached, single-family detached, condos, new construction, not new construction, existing for the 6 jurisdictions. And I'm going to give a shout-out to Greg Slater, because he and I went around and around on some statistical information.
Greg Slater.
On Friday. And we
See him at Birdwood from time to time.
him and I do this Bert and Ernie act. You and I do Batman and Robin. Him and I do Bert and Ernie. And
Shane Serbati, I'll ask the question to Keith Smith in moments, but I want to hear about Bert and Ernie first.
yeah. Well, the question is who is Bert and who is Ernie? That's the question.
Who would you prefer to be?
Oh, I know who I am. I'm Bert. He's definitely Ernie.
Okay, there you go.
But yeah, he did point out.
What exactly is the difference? I know the difference characterized, but how about personality-wise of Bert and Ernie? And why are you so adamant of being Bert?
Well, Ernie's kind of a little goofier, right?
Is Ernie or goofier?
I
Judah,
think-
we might need your
I think
expertise
so. Well,
on
what
this
we need to do
because-
is get a real smart 5-year-old here, which is probably smarter than the 3 of us. Well, the 2 of us anyway.
Bert, correct me if I'm wrong, is Bert the one with the yellow face that is more tall, and
Yeah,
Ernie is
that-
the rounder face that's more orange?
Yeah. So Ernie kind of gets Bert into trouble all the time.
Okay.
And Bert kind of.
Bert has the unibrow and has the yellow face that looks like a banana.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Much like me.
So you're saying Bert, let me see, what is Bert's personality type? Judah, if you can help us.
Somebody should Google that. But we have a viewer and a listener with a question for me. I'd love to tackle.
We do, and I'm really curious of this.
Okay,
now,
got
because
it.
Between
Got
Bert
it.
and
We will stay on that track. While
Curious, what price range, Keith Smith, Shane Baker Serbati?
you know what? That is a great question.
And
'cause
she's speaking specifically of the homes that went pending, I would believe.
Yeah. So of the 24 that went pending from Friday today, the shout out to Greg Slater is I pulled out of the Bright Orientate board
Yeah.
on it, because when you keep that in there, you're getting sales from Fredericksburg and other areas, which he was right. I hate to admit it, but he's right. So I'm only doing the Carr board, right? So there's, just to explain it real quickly, Carr has a data sharing agreement with Bright MLS. So Bright MLS sales that are like in Fredericksburg and different areas of Louisa County is actually showing up, because we were talking about why Louisa County was so high. And I got to go back and relook at those numbers, because some of those numbers may have been like in the Fredericksburg area, not necessarily in our region.
Why is Carr choosing to share its data with Bright?
Oh, we do not have enough time.
Oh, okay. Just out of curiosity.
For that. I would.
You would think you'd want to keep that data as exclusive as possible
There's
to maintain value proposition.
there is. I was on the board at the time, so I'm going to have to.
You're pleading the fifth over here.
I have to plead the fifth.
The man is at a loss for words.
I'm not, and how often does that
That's
happen?
very rare.
But So great question. So if somebody gives me a second, I will run a quick report.
I think Judah's got the personality characteristics
Good.
of Bert and Ernie over there. If we three-shot Judah Wickhauer, I'm very curious of what you have to say here, J-Dubs. This is right up your alley here.
Right up my alley.
I mean, you were a pop culture aficionado,
I guess. I don't know much about
but you looked it up,
Sesame
didn't you?
Street. I did look it up.
I got that data for you when you're ready.
Fantastic. Judah, what do you got?
Bert is timid and calm.
Is Bert the yellow face with the unibrow and the skinny, tall head?
Yep.
He's timid and calm, okay?
Bert is an old soul who prefers reading pigeon stories over anything else. His hobbies are all low-key activities like tending potted plants.
Okay,
And
maybe I'm
he doesn't
not Bert.
often joke around with others. Despite this, he gets along well with almost everyone on
I
Sesame
am.
Street,
Yeah.
and also puts his best effort towards understanding people different from him.
Okay. And Ernie?
Ernie is silly and energetic.
Oh.
He is known by everyone on Sesame Street for his characteristic laugh, which can be heard every day. Good-natured but naive, Ernie occasionally makes jokes when people aren't in the mood, though he's quick to recognize his mistakes and apologize.
There we go.
He's a positive person, always amused by something that's happening nearby. A lover of board games and puzzles, he likes a healthy competition and encourages others to play nicely.
Okay. Bert and Ernie.
So
Thank you, Judah.
I think I want to cherry pick some of the attributes of both of them.
Can you do
Well,
that?
No.
I don't think you can do that. You're either one or the other.
That's true, but I think for the sake of when he and I do presentations, I'm more Bert and he's more Ernie, and we do fair enough presentations together for housing affordability and all this great stuff. So price range, it's very interesting. So and attached, they break it down by 285 to 289. One was sold. 340 to 344, one was sold. So there was a bunch of singular sales in these different price ranges. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in the attached. In the condo, that was 6 of the sales.
6 that went pending.
6 that went pending.
That
and
was at the
attached.
Villas at Southern Ridge.
That I'm just looking at price points at the moment.
225 Villas at Southern Ridge.
There was one, 340 to 344, one, 385 to 389, one, 420 to 424, one, 495 to 499, one, 510 to 514, one. So for each one of the price breakdowns that they've done, there was one sale. On the condos, there was one in the range of 185 to 169, one between 270 and 274. Here's the detached. That's the one that looks at the most of it. And it's really interesting. I probably should copy this and send it to Judah if he can post it, because it's interesting. Each one of the price ranges, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There was one sale, with the exception of 2 price ranges. 325 to 329, there was 2. And 675 to 679 was 2. What this is telling me, every price range had a sale.
Yeah.
I've never actually looked at this data from that perspective. It's very interesting. It's literally, of all the 24 sales, the only one that had 2, there was only 2 that sold, and so let me try to do this again. There was only 2 price ranges that had more than one sale in it, and both of them were 2. The 325 to 329, there was 2, and then there was the 365 to 375 to 379, which was 2.
So what he's saying in a nutshell is this. If you list your house and it's priced fairly well out of the
All
gate,
price ranges are selling.
and it's priced fairly well out of the gate, your home is going to sell.
All price ranges are selling.
That is what he is saying right there.
That's what that data is telling me. All price
Neil
ranges.
Williamson, for what it's worth, I see Jerry Miller as the Count, Judah Wickhauer as Beaker, while I tend towards Oscar. What is
He
the,
tends towards Oscar.
yeah,
Sure
Neil
how I-
Williamson tends
I'm not
towards
sure how
Oscar.
I feel about that.
What is the, can you, I don't see, I need to get up to speed on my, the psychological qualities of Sesame Street. Can you give me the...
Did you ever watch it?
Can you, no,
man.
no. Can you give me, I had very limited TV time growing
Same
up.
here.
Can you give me the personality traits of
didn't
the
have one,
Count and Beaker and Oscar, Judah Wickhauer? When I was growing up, and this is obviously, when I was growing up, I walked 10 miles in the snow uphill barefoot.
Hold on.
I know.
Go outside and walk barefoot?
Anytime someone starts, I don't feel old, but then I make commentary like when I was growing up. But genuinely, when I was growing up, we were not allowed screen time, TV time. We had 30 minutes of television per night. We're instructed to play outside, do sports outside, and had legitimate reading time where my mom would quiz us on. My mom would put us on a soapbox or stool, make a stand on a stool, and every night we would have to give a presentation to her and my brother
So that's where that came
on what we learned
Look at that.
day.
Look at that.
Literally every night.
Your mother was training you for this.
Every night she would do that. Shane Baker, Sir Body, very little showing activity. She says there's a detached single-family house, 759,000 on 2.6 acres. Give us some more information on that one. Judah, you got the personality characteristics of the Count and Beaker and Oscar? Or you need a little bit more time to find that?
Well, the Count is actually,
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, is my favorite character.
Why is the Count? Well, that's me,
I know
evidently.
that. It's my
Yeah.
favorite character on that.
Well, thank you.
I just like the way he does what he does.
Was the Count mischievous?
Well, the Count is the Count. He's a vampire, right?
Jesus.
Right? He's a vampire.
I need you to help me out here, Judah.
that,
Go ahead.
that wanders the night and counts things.
Wanders-
Right? That's what he does. He's the Count. He counts things. It's a great time. That was classic TV. You know, that was probably the only TV we were allowed to watch. And as a kid growing up, you know, it was black and white. Rabbit ears had the tinfoil on it. And if you wanted to change, somebody wanted the channel change, I got smacked and I had to get up and turn the channel because, God forbid, nobody had a remote.
I would imagine Lenny gave you the little pop there.
Yeah, you know, Pop was always working. Papa wasn't around very often. I was actually thinking of something. I talked to my mother for my birthday on Thursday. I remember as a kid growing up, you know, the big treat was to go on Saturday the matinee to see the Walt Disney movies because they came out like in the 60s and the 70s. They came out like on a regular basis. But we used to go out on a mom and son date, my mother and I, and it was before the rest of the four brothers and sisters. And well, my little sister Kelly was around. She's only 2 years younger than me.
Judah, you have the personality traits there?
Yeah, according to this website. So I don't
Is that
know
on a
how-
3-shot?
Not yet, but it will be.
Neil Williamson, we're going to get
There we
to the
go.
Count, Beaker, and Oscar here.
According to this site, the Count
Is
is
it a trusted
mysterious and grandiose.
Oh.
The Count doesn't always come around, but when he does, he brings a lot of energy. His passion for counting rubs off on the people around him who generally join in the fun.
He's right.
Besides really enjoying numbers, however, the Count is somewhat of an unknown. He's friendly with the other residents of Sesame Street who enjoy his company, but he'll often slip away after the counting is done, presumably to go count elsewhere.
Okay, how about, I like that. I'll embrace the Count. How about Beaker and Oscar?
They did not have Beaker on this site.
Yeah, that's a relatively new one. I don't remember, but Oscar's a classic.
Beaker's been around for a long time,
Has he? Yeah,
but he
I
doesn't
don't
have
remember.
much
But while-
personality besides getting blown up by the
Oh,
by all the
what's the one with
Bunsen-
Gonzo?
Bunsen's
That's it,
Experiment.
Gonzo. But I think I might be
Gonzo.
moving into the Muppets. So there's this transition.
yeah.
This is a real estate show.
It's a real estate show. We are going to
There
segue
is
this
a-
into buying and selling real estate.
There is a transition somewhere between the Sesame Street to the Muppet Show, which was a classic show. And Gonzo was one of my favorite characters on the Muppets. But speaking of...
What was Gonzo?
I think he was a chicken.
A chicken?
Well, he had little chickens that followed him around
I think
a
that's a
little
good
bit.
question for the audience. What
Yeah.
do they think?
What was... mean as far as an animal goes?
Yeah.
I think he was a rooster or something that went seriously wrong.
What was Gonzo on Sesame Street? Put it to the feed. We'll relay it live on air.
Well, I think Gonzo was in the Muppets, not on Sesame Street. So that's the second question.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think Gonzo was a Sesame Street
Right. Gonzo was
character,
on the
right?
Muppets.
Big Bird, the Umphalump. What's the elephant one?
I'm such at a loss here. I feel.
Snuffleupagus.
What's that?
Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus.
Oh my
that's it.
gosh.
Was the elephant-looking character. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's Sesame Street.
This is
And that's
resonating
Sesame
with the
Street,
viewers and
yeah.
listeners. I see it in the feed.
Yeah, we're but we'll
He
make
is a Muppet. Multiple people are saying.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to add a Sesame. We can, I think, for the sake of a show, we can either appoint a Sesame Street or Muppet character to a person, because on Friday, and Neil and Ned have agreed to come on, and we're going to chat Albemarle County.
Neil
County,
Williamson
and
coming
all
on the
that stuff.
program.
So it's the Neil and Ned. Well, I think it would be the Ned and the Neil show, because Ned alphabetically would come before.
Neil Williamson as Oscar coming on the program. This is
what-
put on the feed here from Jennifer. She says Gonzo is ambiguous. No one knows what Gonzo is. That's
Yeah.
what makes Gonzo great.
That's what makes Gonzo Gonzo.
I
Yeah.
think he's a mosquito.
Judah thinks he's a mosquito. Someone
A
said on the
mosquito?
He's got a
feed.
beak.
Really?
Thomas says he's a frackle.
A Fraggle.
A Fraggle.
Yeah. What,
Oh,
what does
man.
that mean?
Oh, Fraggle, like Fraggle
I don't even
Rock.
know what that
Fraggle
Oh,
means.
hold
from
it. Now we're really
HBO.
getting into it. This is almost like having a...
No, a frackle. Frackle. He says a frackle.
I think you spelled it wrong.
It's not frackle.
But
CKLE.
But what about Fraggle Rock?
I think he's talking about Fraggles from Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a offshoot. This is much like
I don't think
a
it's an
geeky
offshoot.
conversation about Star Wars, right? and all that stuff. But there's a Fraggle Rock, which is a whole different offshoot of this.
That
So
was
the-
on HBO, though. I don't think that was an offshoot of any of these shows.
But I believe it was a Jim Henson production. I may be wrong.
I think it was.
I'm at a loss for words here. This is not in my
and that does not happen very often.
bailiwick.
Postcards from Uncle Traveling Matt.
So we've got to come up.
I don't think he can hears. Does
I
he hear?
can't hear him.
Yeah.
My hearing aids are not picking. Thank you.
Yeah, I can tell you're not hearing him.
I'm not hearing him at all.
Yeah, why is that?
It's because my hearing aids are not picking up his voice. That's why.
They don't work left. They only work straight.
No. Do we need to get into this?
I really do. Let's go to the studio camera
Okay.
so people can see the isosceles triangle of content. No, excuse me, the equilateral triangle of content creation. That is the Real Talk with Keith Smith network. We are in a triangle position of equilateral distance. And Keith, you're reading my lips. Is that what it is?
No.
Okay. I would love to. Okay. So
So
I
it's
don't
a little
know
bit of
this.
both. I'm reading your lips.
Okay. So if I was like this, Keith, Keith, you're a Muppet. You can hear it. I'm covering my mouth for those
This
that are.
is a family-friendly
Okay,
show.
no, guy. I didn't use a profanity.
No.
Everything was above board.
So I have a software on my phone.
Okay.
That I can control it. And what you don't know is before the show, I can change the direction. So right now, the direction of the hearing aids are picking up stuff that's in front of me, which is you.
Did not realize
And
that.
if I was to open the range of the hearing aids, and it's to tie a little bit to MLK Day, you know, most folks do not know how important Dr. King was to the adoption of the 1968 Fair Housing Act, right? So there's these protected classes that we all operate under as far as housing goes and buying and selling, and one of them is disability, and I'm disabled.
We know that.
Behave. Neil, behave. But 15% of people have hearing loss or a substantial hearing loss, and I'm one of them. But if I was to set if I would take it away from focusing on you, because you know everything's about focusing on you, I would hear all the road noise and everything that's from the road, and it would distract my attention.
Woody Fincham watching the program. He says my nickname playing soccer in high school was Fraggle Rock. I had a big mane of hair. Woody Fincham says, gentlemen, the connection between the three shows is Jim Henson.
That's it. That's it.
Jim Henson. Jim Henson is the connection. Cully Baggett watching the program, the developer. He says, Ned Galloway looks more like the Count than Jerry. I think you should do a comparison when Ned Galloway joins the show and gives the laughing
Well,
emotions.
that is going to be the kickoff topic. Forget about this housing stuff in Albemarle. We're going to talk about the important things, such as what is our instead of spirit animal, what is our Jim Henson character?
I mean, that's a hell of a show topic right
That's
there.
a hell of a show topic.
That's undoubtedly a
we
show
might
topic.
have a couple people watching.
Judah, what would you rather your Sesame or Muppets character be?
We should send
It
out.
should be the pensive one that overthinks the. What do you got over there, Judah?
So all Henson characters are on the table. Is that what we're saying?
Sure. I don't know. Don't know really any
I
of
think
these.
he's
Go ahead.
more like Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog. Okay. What's Kermit the Frog do?
Kermit the Frog is basically runs everything in
Okay.
in the Muppets world, right? You know, he's kind of controlling everything. The right?
I try not to do that.
No, him. He's the one that's in charge of the show. He's
Oh,
the one-
Judah.
he's the director. I think he's more of a Muppet. Kermit the Frog.
Here's Kermit.
Are you putting Kermit on screen?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank goodness, because that would be a way to get the show pulled.
By the
right
way,
there.
if anybody has a housing question,
we
just
do
shout out.
have housing questions, but they're enjoying the Kermit the Frog and Muppets
Muppets,
commentary.
yeah. And I think we ought to, can we do like a poll?
I mean, we
live?
could do anything. The cool thing about this network is the people that make the rules are right here sitting at the table.
Well, I was just wondering, technically, can we do that? We should do that. We should do a poll to send out before Friday for folks to kind of vote on what our Muppet characters or what our Jim Henson character should be for Friday.
I think. Well, you seem to have embraced the role of Bert.
Yeah, well, as it relates to my good friend Greg Slater, when he and I give presentations, believe it or not, I'm the calmer one. So therefore,
That is surprising.
That is very
would
surprising.
Greg agree with that?
and I
You're saying Greg would agree with that?
oh, I don't really care. I don't think Bert would care either.
God, you're something special over there.
Something special.
You're
right?
something
I am
special.
something special, that's for sure. 15% of the people in the United States have hearing disability. That's a big number.
I see that. I see that. I know how important those hearing aids are. And you often give props to the VA.
I do. Well, that would be one of the other fair housing protected class would be veterans.
Woody Fincham says Judah is Scooter.
Scooter.
Scooter is Judah.
Oh, good job.
So I'm looking
Woody.
up.
Scooter is the guy that runs around and tries to get everybody on track. That's a good one. Scooter's
Judah is
the one.
Scooter.
Scooter's the one that makes sure like people show up on time and get in front of the microphones on time and go on time and stuff like that. So that's a good one.
So Scooter, should that be your new nickname on the talk show there, J-Dubs?
Scooter.
Scooter.
I don't know about that.
You don't like Scooter?
I like Scooter.
He doesn't like Scooter.
I like Scooter.
Those questions come on the feed here. Is the expectation for additional inventory to come on the market? Good gracious, we've been looking forever.
Yeah. Look, I think this is going to be a roller coaster ride for the foreseeable future, up and down, 1 week's up, 1 week's down. We had a really big surge, pretty much kind of right after Christmas, New Year, and that's surge is kind of a big word, right? We grew from 17, 15 new units up to 50, which is a pretty decent jump. The number needs to be more. Now we're back down to 33. We'll see what it looks like on Friday when we look at this again, or Wednesday. But I suspect what you're going to see is this seesaw up and down as stuff comes on. I mean, it's obviously, and since Friday, 24 went pending.
I can't highlight this enough, and he's the expert over there. The pent-up demand in this Central Virginia real estate market should not be underestimated.
So I think
There is significant pent-up demand.
So I think what this is validating. Phew, big word.
Wow, Keith, Bert, good job.
I think that-
Even Scooter's impressed.
I think that hurt. What this validates is, the time to buy a home is now, right? And as stuff comes on the market, people are entering the market as quickly as stuff is coming on. They're going off. Again, since Friday till now, really that's just all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. So in 3 days, 24 units or 24 homes or properties went into the pending status in the car footprint within the car origination board. Thank you, Mr. Slater, on it. Because it would have pulled, if I was to change it, that number probably would grow and it pull stuff that was in Fredericksburg and different areas outside of our physical footprint at the moment.
Logan Wells-Claylow, welcome to the broadcast.
Logan, how are
Logan,
you?
we really appreciate your support of all our talk shows. Thank you kindly for watching.
Thank you.
Kevin Higgins,
Does
welcome
Logan
to the show.
Logan knows me well. I'm curious what her opinion is on my character, me being Bert.
Beth Mark.
We're pivoting from superheroes to Muppets.
Beth Mark, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you kindly for joining us. Aaron King, hello. Mr. DL, hello. Welcome to the broadcast. Kevin Yancey, Kerry Rock, Kyle Miller, Gracie Armstrong
birthday, Kyle.
Haynes. Welcome to the show. Kyle, we're excited to see you back in the saddle this week.
Kyle, Juan Diego, and myself celebrate on birthday on the same day.
Kyle's birthday was this past Thursday.
Was Thursday.
Did
Juan
not realize
Diego
that.
Wade was Thursday. So happy birthday, gentlemen.
Happy birthday to all that are watching the show near and far. This question's come on the program. If rates fall, don't you think the inventory is going to pick up?
Yeah, I keep on forgetting to bring it in. I need to bring in my prop. I will do that. We'll put a note down here for Wednesday and Friday. Because on Wednesday, we're going to have Maggie Gunnels in.
Maggie Gunnels.
And one of her team members, and we're going to...
Which one?
She hasn't decided yet.
The Gunnels group.
She's going to let us know. But we're going to focus exclusively on Lake Monticello market.
Okay.
The 23 numbers, right? And then where it's kind of going forward. And we're just constantly... I just looked at it this morning. We're constantly in this sub-15, sub-20 active listings in the Lake Monticello market out of 4,500 homes. But we're going to talk about that a little bit and talk a little bit about how that market is going to trend a little bit. And then after we get past on Friday with the Jim Henson conversation, I want to talk a little bit about the numbers from Albemarle County sales with both Ned and Neil, and then talk about a little bit future, what Ned and Neil see the future is for housing in Albemarle County in particular. But look,
10 homes on the market in Lake Monticello
is it
right
10
now.
really? I haven't
10
looked.
out of 4,300. Good Lord. Oh, and one of them's a paper house. Two of them are paper houses. So we're talking 8 homes in Lake Monticello right now out of 4,300. 8 homes. What do you make of that, Keith Smith? Let's go to...
I've got 11, so...
why is what you have...
oh, you know why? Because I might...
2 of them are paper houses. Did you track those, take those out?
No, this is everything.
Yeah, take out the paper houses. And Glenmore, there are...
So it's interesting. So if I remove new construction, that number drops to 6.
There's 2
So it's-
on the
so-
market in Glenmore.
So it's probably, let me look at it real quick. It's probably the coming soons that you're not seeing. No, there's no coming soons.
2, including 3, if you include
what are you
one
looking
active
on?
with a kick out. I'm looking at the Glenmore market right now.
Got it. You pivoted.
Lake Monticello, I can go back to what the marketplace sees or the consumer on the CAR
Well,
website.
it should be the same.
You
They're all
have 2
active.
paper houses on there. Maggie's got a listing.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
you know why?
6,
Watch this.
7, 8.
There you go. So back to Greg Slater's origination board. So I keep in CAR and Bright. So if I just do CAR, it drops it to 10, which is your number.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if one of them is an actual Bright listing, meaning that it actually was listed in the Northern Virginia MLS system for sale down here in Lake Monticello, which I've got an issue with, but
Because they're not experts in this market.
yeah, I'm going to stay away from that.
I mean,
but
that's-
yeah. Well, yeah, it's.
Anyone who studies for the test realizes that's a key component of the test.
That's right. That's funny you should mention that. But anybody who studies for the test,
good night.
That's exactly right. You're supposed to be an expert in the market that you're in, and depending on how one does their business, we would always refer it outside of our footprint. You know, if we're
Get a referral fee.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Referral fees are paid by brokers and not salespeople to salespeople. It's
That's
got to be paid by your broker.
That's exactly. Look at you, all your studying and
Oh,
test
man.
stuff.
I've learned from you on this talk show.
There you go. So it's interesting, but it's funny taking a look at days on market for Lake Monticello. I'm back on that, and this is going to be a great question for our
Maggie.
friend Maggie.
Maggie right now has got a 259.9 listing on, is it Loblolly Road?
Correct.
It might be one of the most affordable detached properties in Central Virginia.
It is. It is.
The definition of a fantastic starter home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,300 square feet.
That's exactly right. So that we probably, if it's not on the contract by Wednesday, we'll talk to her a little bit about that and see, how she feels about it. It's been on the market a little while, 56 days. So I'd love to pick her brain a little bit.
A handful of these Lake Monticello listings have some DOM length.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. So there's a couple.
Why
of them.
is that? If the demand is there in the other markets, in the other neighborhoods, and you're seeing the inventory trade, why are we seeing some of these Lake Monticello homes, I don't want to say getting long in the tooth, but have some increased DOM?
Yeah, so it's a couple of reasons. I'm trying to take a look at when the listing started, right? So it went in November. So the interest rates did not take their dive right at that point. So you got to kind of take a month off of that just because of interest rates. Right?
72 on the Loblolly
Is
the DOM.
I'm looking at 56. So don't know.
Straight from the Realtor app, which RSS is from the MLS.
Got it. Anyway, there's a discrepancy there, but in reality, there probably a good portion of that was, the fact that interest rates have not taken that drop when it first went on. So you have to take a little bit of time on that. But we're going to let Maggie Gunnels talk about that a little bit when she comes in.
Woody Fincham, I'm going to get to your comment here in a matter of moments. This question's come in as a follow-up from Jennifer. Jennifer, we love when you watch the show. She says, what is the average or median DOM looking like right now?
So let's focus on
car
Lake
footprint.
Monticello because I got it in front of me. So the listing DOMs right now, which is very interesting, and this is a question we're going to, I've got my opinion, but I want Maggie Gunnels to dig into it. Median days on market is 75. Average is 79. So that's, when it's that close, that's kind of where the market is, right? So when you have these huge spreads between median and average, let's say median is 2 and average is 79, but when you start getting your medians and averages closer, and that's pretty darn close.
When the median and average days on market for Lake Monticello, which is a correct and a fantastic barometer of the real estate economy in Central Virginia, 4,300 homes, all relatively the same size, all relative lot size, a lot of comparables in that neighborhood. When the days on market is flirting with 80 days.
Yeah, that's getting close to that 90.
What does that maybe put some holes in my pent-up demand statement that I made earlier in the talk show?
No, because we're talking active days on market versus sold. So sold is what we want to look at. So what I'm going to do quickly is just take a look at Lake Monticello real quick. I'll drop out new construction out of it just so we don't have to deal with the paper houses. And what do you want to look at? You want to look at the last 90 days going back? Let's look at the last 90 days.
Look at anything you want there.
So that's 33 homes that actually sold and closed, and that median is at 17. So some of these homes, for some reason, have been a little sticky on the market, staying on it. But the homes that have closed in the last 90 days, the median days on market was 17. The average is 25. So if you're priced right, and maybe that might be what's going on here, you're in the right location, right price, right features, right, and the timing and who's on the other side matters. So I think some of those units that are in these long on the tooth are not matching either the first three, right? The location we know about, right? The price might be a little on the high side, and it also could be the price is right, but some of the features or conditions are not meeting what the buyers are meeting. But you guys also remember, we just kind of came off of a year of high interest rates, and we're now kind of stable at the I got to look at what it is today, the 6.6 range, somewhere in that range. And it makes a difference when you're trying to buy a home in, somewhere in the 2s to 350s. It makes a difference in all transactions, but a half a point. Now, remember what we were talking about, credit score matters, right? Maybe credit scores are a little not what they're supposed to be, so we got a half a point premium because your credit score is not top on it. And I just think that buyer profile is just a little challenging at the moment.
Woody Fincham says one has to question the geographic competency when an agent or appraiser is coming from more than an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Just saying. Woody Fincham is
Yeah, he and I are on the same
a
page on that.
fantastically competent appraiser.
He and I are
Fincham
on
and Associates. Woody Fincham, an A+ guy.
We're on the same page of that. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole again on the soapbox on it, but
It's a sign of desperation when agents outside the Central Virginia market are trying to penetrate the Central Virginia market for deals. It's a sign of lack of inventory.
hold on one second. 49.775% of the 1,109 agents that are part of CAR have sold one unit or less.
Half the agents
Just
in
call it
CAR,
50%.
half the agents in the CAR footprint have done one deal or less. I want viewers and listeners to consider that. John Blair, welcome to the broadcast. We'll say that again.
But
There's 1,100 agents in the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors, 1,100, and of those 1,100, half the agents have done one deal or less.
Correct. So this 50-50 split, which, by the way, if somebody Googles, matches exactly with the nationwide average. Nationwide average around the country is about 50% of the agents do between 0 and 1 transaction, right? And then the remaining 50. And as you get closer in transactions, the number of transactions, it gets a little narrower. But just think 50% of 1,109 agents have only done between 0 and 1 transactions. That's 50% of them done more than that. And the reason I bring that up is that same statistic happens in Northern Virginia, happens.
I wouldn't say that's a confidence boosting statistic for either buyers, sellers, or agents themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the number is the number, right? I'm not going to what it
Ray
means.
Cadell, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, Ray. I hope everything's okay with his house. He got a little look on
I saw.
a Facebook post. Yeah, I hope everything's going. Anything.
Carly
we can do
Wagner
there.
says, over their career or the last year?
No, so this is 2023.
2023, Carly. Great question.
Full 2023. Thank you for the clarification. This is in 2023, CAR footprint.
I would imagine, though,
500 out of 100 and somebody can check my math. Out of 1,109 agents per CAR, 557 done between 0 and 1 transaction.
I would imagine,
Roughly
though,
50%.
if we extrapolated that over a decade,
Well,
it would be relatively close as well.
It's been kind of normal. It's a kind of normal thing in this industry to do that. The reason I'm saying that is that the agents up in Northern Virginia are doing it that are in the Bright. Obviously, they have to come down here. But I agree, it's just a soapbox for me. I believe in Woody's position that, if I'm going to list or sell something in Northern Virginia, Yona and I are part of 2 awesome referral networks that, you kind of have to be hot. You have to be in that top tier of agents to be part of these referral, as far as volume goes. And what we do is this is a simple process. I pick up the phone interview. If Jerry wants to buy something in, let's say, Old Town Alexandria, we pick up the phone, we interview 3 or 4 agents that we end up as a good fit. We put them together. We stay involved in the transaction. We do this all over the country on a regular basis, the world actually. We want to make sure that there's a good relational fit between the client and who's going to help them, their trusted advisor. And you stay engaged in it, the process goes through, and you're lucky enough to get a referral off of it. But that's the way it should be done.
Renee Warner, welcome to the broadcast.
Renee.
Thank you for watching the show. Here's a question that's coming to the feed. Robert, thank you for asking this question. He is on the supply chain of real estate. This question for you is, are more agents entering the field than they are leaving the field?
I think we're kind of out of balance. I don't know about the CAR, but if NAR, just National Association of Realtors, just put out a report I read, I think it was last week. It's like 1.7%. There was a between inbound and outbound, there was a loss of about 1.7%. I think timing is everything. I think most at least I know in ours, your dues are paid in October and November, I believe, right? So you're kind of set for the next 12 months. As far as membership goes, you have to pay for your MLS access and so forth and so on a quarterly basis. But your yearly dues are due in October, November, if I remember correctly. So it won't be until next October and November we'll see what kind of impact that might have. But you've got, when you got 24 transactions happening in 3 days, there are agents making transactions, right? There are deals happening. People are buying and selling homes and putting them under contract. And if that number stays steady, which I suspect it won't because inventory is not going to match it, that's what's going to happen.
The comment, which we don't have to touch on, we had an idea it would come up about some of the latest news at the National Association of Realtors. That is obviously now getting into the non-insiders news cycle.
It's in national news.
It's in the national news. That's what I meant. It's not just in the trade publications, if you may.
It's not amongst us geeky people.
That's what I meant. Thank you. You said it better than I did.
It's out there.
Yeah.
When
So I'm seeing that on a couple feeds right now.
When my mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, she's passed. When my mother asks me about it, it's in the national news. So what specifically is the question? I'll see if I can tackle it.
Do you want me to get to that?
Yeah, sure. I'll just tell you if I don't want to answer it or not. We'll see.
Okay. The question is, another president or head of NAR has resigned.
Yeah. So we don't know why. We know it was this is public record at this point. It was some sort of blackmail against the president. We don't know why.
This is the second president in a short period of time.
Yeah. So I can assure you that the association, from an optics perspective, got a little brand rebuilding to do. Hopefully they tackle that. I know we actually are fortunate to have a board member that's part of our organization, part of CAR.
We're going to highlight the fabulous Denise Ramey.
You can. So she's working her proverbial tail off with the board to hopefully rectify some of this stuff. But, there is a, when an organization gets hit with this many stuff, it's just a hard thing to navigate. And I'm trying to delicately do this because I surely don't want to say anything publicly that impacts what they're working on, other than stating, doing my Captain Obvious socks that, it's out in the public conversation. It's a bit of branding rebuilding they need to do, and I'm sorry to hear that happened to her, and I'm sorry to hear that it happened to all of us.
Do you want to leave it alone there?
Yeah, I'll tackle whatever questions up there. I'll just do my best to.
The follow-up was: does he expect membership to drop?
I think membership is going to drop, not because of this. I think it's purely a numbers perspective, right? If there's 50% of the agents doing 0 to 1, eventually there's a cost relationship to it, right? Because if you do one transaction, I find it hard to believe for whatever you might net out of that. And typically, when you're in that transaction level, your split is pretty high with the brokerage. Don't know that, but typically that's the case on it. So the amount of revenue you got coming in versus your expenses just might not work. And that would be more of a reason why I see agents drop out, other than these other issues. I think for the most part, most agents don't, they focus on what's in front of them, not necessarily the bigger picture. We geek out on this stuff because we read prolifically.
Everything.
Yeah, we read prolifically.
Absolutely. Okay, you handled it well. Very nicely done.
Hopefully I did. I'll find out if my phone starts ringing.
No,
after
if it starts ringing, it's uncalled for. I thought you handled that respectfully and appropriately.
There you go.
Woody says, I'm pretty sure CAR is net positive in members, Keith.
Yeah, he would know more. He's on the board, right? So I don't have access to that data anymore. But I think there's just going to be enough transactions happening that we stay balanced for a while. I think when it comes back to having to spend the money you need to spend at the end of this year, that decision might do. A lot of people just hold on to their licenses just to hold on to them.
What is the cost of that?
I don't know, because I'm I'm a professional. We do this for a living, so it goes into it. But there's ways that you can put your license in inactive and still have it, and kind of different things. But I'm sure it's a few $1,000s. I don't know, to be honest with you. I know how much it costs us because
Yeah.
we pay quarterly dues and MLS, and we're part of multiple MLSs, so we spend a substantial amount of money per month or per quarter on MLS dues. So we're part of 3 different MLSs that we belong to.
Keith Smith, Yes Realty Partners, crushing it right now.
Just chatting, that's all.
That's what the beautiful thing of
That's what we like to do.
of this talk show is. Here's a very good question that's come on the feed for Keith. So he's saying even if inventory drops, he doesn't expect the, Keith is saying even if interest rates drop, he doesn't expect the inventory to uptick so much. So does that mean more of the same in 2024 when compared to 2023?
So if you looked at a show that we did I think last week when we wrapped up the year-end numbers, I think I was comparing volume to 2019 and 2016. I've been saying for a long time that I think you're going to start seeing the overall volume for the car footprint to be more like 2016. I think that's going to stay the same. What's ultimately going to happen is we're going to do what I think we just saw. What we just seen was,
What's up, Dino? Dino Woodfire Pizza is watching the
Dino,
show.
it was, by the way, great to see you the other day. You're a rock star, my friend.
Dr. John Shabe, the owner of Pro Renata,
Best pizza in
pushing
town, by the way.
Dino to maybe open a Jewish deli as his next venture in the community.
Ooh.
That came up on the I Love Seville show.
I will tell you, those who follow my Facebook page, I was in Richmond yesterday.
Pearlies.
I went to Pearlie's
The man loves
to
Pearlies.
pick up a couple of quarts of matzo ball soup to bring it home because we're going to have some matzo ball soup for dinner tonight.
Matzo ball soup, the best.
Mm-hmm.
Jewish penicillin.
That is
The matzo
Jewish
balls.
penicillin.
Matzo ball soup.
Or you just eat it anytime you want. I love matzo balls, and they make a great job of it. I love going there, and I have to talk to Dino because part of the charm of it is the wait staff are very much so like New Yorkers. What do you want? Hurry up, right? And I was there ordering it, and I ain't got all day. Hurry up. What do you want? What do you want? Just this real obnoxious thing. And I was sitting there smiling at the lady, at the wait person, and Yona goes, "What the hell's wrong with you?" I said, "Oh, I feel like I'm at home." And I told the lady, I said, "Thank you so much for what you're doing."
Can you not say waitress anymore?
I don't know. I don't know. I've got I'm trying to keep as neutral as I possibly
All right,
can.
Judas,
I don't know.
I wasn't allowed to say female on the talk show anymore.
You're not allowed to say female.
No, according to the scooter of the talk show over here, 3-shot Judah Wickhowers, female's not the
Did
preferred
we ever get a
nomenclature.
question out of
Not as a noun.
Not as a noun.
not as a noun?
Yeah.
So the great news is, if I
Keith
knew
doesn't-
if I knew what a noun was, that would be wonderful.
She is a female.
There you go. Yvonne tried to explain to me pronouns one day, and I said, "Do me a favor. Let's start off what a pronoun is first, and then we can take it from there." Yeah. So good luck to him. There's been a couple. In fairness, I love Dino to death. I'm gonna punch a couple holes in it. There's been a couple of attempts to do a really good Jewish deli.
Modern Nosh on Water Street.
Modern Nosh.
That's the York place.
Yeah, and way back when, the Jewish mother from Virginia Beach tried to do something, and it just didn't quite kick off. I mean, you've got to sell quite a bit of matzo ball soup and other fine Jewish food. Just escaped me. Reuben and
Pastrami,
Reuben, all that kind of great stuff, and in order to
Jewish deli is not just Jewish food. You go into a Jewish deli is synonymous with the New York deli.
No, that's not true. That I will argue with you. Unless it's changed since I left New York, that is not the case.
You're saying a Jewish deli is only matzo ball soup,
No.
Reuben's, pastrami's.
No, you get looked at kind of funny if you ask for a bologna sandwich, but
There's pre-made cuisine to purchase and bring off site with you.
Right. Well, it's funny you should mention that. I was
Get some
talking
lox
to-
in there.
I was talking to Joe.
Some bagels.
Joe Gentile,
Love Joe Gentile.
my dear friend, a brother from another mother up
Now
in
at EXP.
now at EXP. I believe he runs World Recruiting or something like this.
Fantastic.
But when I grew up, you know, you had your Jewish deli or your Italian deli, right? So there was German delis that were different, but they were very specific to that. Same thing with the bakeries, right? So the Jewish bakery kind of focused on a lot of the Jewish
Director of Global Operations.
Director of Global Operations. There you go. It was close. And Italian bakeries had Italian stuff, you know. But you know, I haven't been in New York for a while, so I may be wrong.
Judah's father, his biggest qualm with the Charlottesville area and living here is the lack of a Jewish deli.
Yeah,
I learned that about Big Jim Wickhauer,
I
who's
just
soon
don't
to
know.
be 80.
I just don't know if there's enough to make it happen.
Judah and I respectfully disagreed, or unless I don't want to speak for you.
So why didn't the other two didn't work? Location, maybe?
Well, Modern Nosh, one of its, what's it called? Nails in the coffin? What's it called? Death nails?
Nails in the coffin.
Yeah.
One of the final.
Nails in the
Was
coffin.
COVID.
Let's call the straw
No
that
doubt.
broke the camel's back.
Was COVID.
There's also no parking there.
It's a challenging spot. There is a parking lot across the street from it.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
literally a parking lot
Yeah.
across the street from it.
Yeah, but
All someone would have to do is put a quarter in the machine and walk across the
but the
street. and come
kebab
back.
place
Who's got
there is doing
quarters
fine.
today?
It's
What's
been
that?
there for years.
Who's got quarters?
It's fair.
You don't carry quarters?
No, I mean he makes
right
he
now.
makes a decent point that a lot of people don't have change on them, and there's still this
I can tell you,
terrible stigma around parking around downtown.
I
Charlottesville.
never pay for parking.
I've worked. He works. You've worked downtown for over a decade. I've owned a business and worked downtown for nearly 16 years, and have never had a problem finding parking.
Now, I pay for parking on show days because I'm generally
'Cause you're running late.
I'm running late.
Yeah, and what do you normally pay when you get out of there?
It's too much.
Is it $2?
It depends on how long you let me talk.
That's not too much.
But it's $2.
Isn't it $1.80 an hour?
I don't know.
The first hour's free.
I know that, and then after that, I believe it's $2. I know. I constantly pay $2. So 2 times 3 times
$6,
times 4
$24.
times 12.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Very little.
It taps into my beer money. I
Okay,
can tell you
okay.
that.
But go
But-
ahead with the parking.
Yeah.
analysis.
So I go down. I go to the downtown Marie. I can do this. Petite Marie Bet, right? I never pay for parking, and usually I go in there for something quick and get out, which is what is the hallmark.
Harry
of
Tyson, hello.
Hey, Harry Tyson. Which is Harry will answer that question about
Jewish deli.
Jewish deli.
Harry says she is a female still makes it a noun. She is female makes it an adjective.
well, he would know.
That's
because-
correct.
He would know because he's smart.
That's correct.
But
That's very correct.
a Jewish
Judah says, Harry, that we can only utilize male and female as adjectives now on the network, and not as nouns or pronouns.
I'm not making the rules. I'm just saying.
You're just reporting the rules.
Holly Foster watching the program.
And-
Pearlie's does have Jewish food, but it also has lots of new style Jewish food. They don't have a takeout deli counter or takeout food like a normal New York deli.
Oh, no,
It's in
no.
downtown Richmond, and the parking is awful. Only open Wednesday to Sunday due to COVID. I do enjoy eating there on occasion. That's the Queen of Henrico, Holly Foster.
I will tell you,
Hello,
she's
Holly.
1,000% on the parking. But if you're used to it, just like I go downtown, I just drive around until I find a spot. You got to have the time, right? So most people are in a rush. I disagree on it doesn't have like a takeout counter because it's an actual restaurant. But I call in advance, and that's what I did yesterday. I said, I need 3 quarts of,
Matzah.
Matzah.
Matzo ball soup.
and then we showed up, and Yona said, you hungry? I said, duh.
I mean, their matzo ball soup is fantastic.
It's good stuff.
One of these days, I'm hoping you'll bring us one of those quarts.
Yeah, well, I'll bring you alcohol. I will not
Not
bring
the matzo ball
the
soup.
matzo
He
ball
does.
soup.
He's very generous.
I love you, but not that much.
He's very generous. He's very generous. Any closing thoughts for the viewers? and listeners?
No, and any quick thoughts on those football games this weekend?
Dallas is going to have some coaching changes.
I would think so.
Green Bay and its quarterback were in fuego. Green Bay looked like world beaters in the first half of that ball game.
I'm happy for
Harry
Detroit.
Tyson says you want a Jewish-style deli so you can get cheese on your pastrami.
There you go.
Harry knows what's up. And how about some bagels?
Oh boy, it's 11:15. We got to save bagels, pizza
Oh, it's fantastic.
for a
talk.
different show. But
Fantastic.
I'll tell you, a shout out to Dino, hands down, Charlesville's best pizza. You should try some.
There you go. There you go. Judah.
And that's from a guy from Brooklyn.
Any closing thoughts there, Judah Wickhauer?
Oh, there goes the eyebrows.
It
Is there a camera on him?
It is a talk show. It is a talk show, Judah.
Apparently, I'm based on my personality
Profile.
Scooter?
I'm Gonzo.
You're Gonzo.
Yeah.
Why Gonzo?
Is there like a test that you can take that's like an online thing, or you're just reading it?
That's You've heard of Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
Based on Myers-Briggs, I'm Gonzo.
Why Gonzo?
So you went through the test process?
He already knew his Myers-Briggs profile,
yeah, got
and
it.
he applied it to.
Got it.
I've known that for a while.
Yeah. Okay, so Gonzo. And mine is,
So I called the
I don't know your Myers-Briggs score.
but you've known me well enough for 13, 14 years, and you know the Muppets.
Is
and
there like
Sesame Street.
Is there a Muppet character that's just like the devil? That's what I'm sorry. did I
Oh
say
my
that
goodness
out loud?
gracious! Look at that.
Hey, we got to go. It's 11:17.
We do have to go. We do have to go. Keith Smith is archived. Talk show Real Talk with Keith Smith is archived online at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Wednesday he's got Neil Williamson and Ned Galloway.
Nope. That's Friday.
Oh, that's Friday. Okay.
Wednesday-
Wednesday's Maggie Gunnels.
And one of our team members
From
we're
the
gonna
Gunnels
focus
Group.
on- Gunnels Group. We're going to focus on Lake Monticello.
Okay.
So keep an eye on that. Get all your Lake Monticello questions ready. Noted down the ones from today. And Friday it's going to be the Ned and Neil show, and we might focus about Muppet characters.
I love it. I love it. Real Talk
And
with Keith
Albemarle.
Smith. The I Love Seville show, guys, is up at 12:30, where the conversation will continue. Judah Wickhauer cannot wait to be gregarious, outgoing, and conversational. We spent an hour talking about all things Charlottesville related. For Keith and Judah, I'm Jerry. Thank you kindly for joining us. So long, everybody. Very well done.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Gonzo.